Rico Murillo, Laurie Ann, here again for another great episode of Lunchtime Live. Thank you very much for being here. Today is August 25th, year of our Lord, 2022. It is 1:02 p.m. Central Time. A couple minutes late. All me. Always going to be me. I'm going to tell you that right now. But anyways, we're in for something good. I'm going to bring something back to you guys. 5 qualities of a good leader. Do you think you're a good leader? Let's get through them. We're going to get into this right away. Laurie, are you excited? Because I am.
I love this topic. Let's do it.
All right, fantastic. Donnie, go ahead and roll us in, and we're going to talk to you guys in just a few seconds. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks again. Listen, you know the deal. If you are watching live, do us a favor and drop a hashtag live. I'm actually excited. I don't know if you've noticed, Laurie Ann, for those of us who are using the LinkedIn platform, they're doing a lot of neat stuff, especially with live. You can engage differently. You can join live in a different way. It's easier to see. I'm actually really excited about that. Also, I don't know if you've noticed too, when you go and comment, are you noticing now you get a little indication bell that says, hey, if you want to see if, when they post. I like that. I'm excited about that. Yeah. I think it's great. Thank you, Anita. Again, you guys, we are going to get into the topic of leadership, and we're going to talk about 5 of those qualities that really help identify a good leader and what that means in terms of the team building side. So, Laurie Ann, let's see if you can try to, without looking, I know you have the notes. All right. No cheating. No cheating. If you were to identify good qualities of a leader, and let's be a little specific. Oh, I like that music. Yeah, I like that one. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but this one gets me pumped up. Right? I have a problem with energy.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
I do. So I need things to get me going. I got to get motivated.
Really? You actually need music to get you going?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I do have a routine. I mean, I have my coffee in the morning. I do have my shake. I feel so much better when I do my minerals and shake. It's awesome. Like Michelle gets me these it's like a super food. It actually doesn't taste too bad. It used to taste like but it's like a shot. I take that gives me all my minerals and vitamins and everything I need, and then I do a green, like a super green supplement. So I kind of overdo it, but then I pound it with water on purpose. But I love it. It always makes me feel really good. If I miss that piece of the routine, plus my cup of coffee, espresso, and then I do an energy drink.
Oh, good. Good. So an espresso and an energy drink. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice
Well, espresso and coffee. I make it like a coffee and then almost like a latte, but it's a coffee and then I add an espresso shot in because I like a stronger taste. I do my greens. And then I do all my vitamins and minerals. Let's just say if I don't drink enough water in the morning through that process, bathroom trips are interesting. It feels like there's some type of
Rico, you know we're live, right?
yeah, I do. I'm just
we're talking about the bathroom.
Hey, listen. Everybody goes, Laurie Ann. I'm just saying, everybody goes. All right, so we're going to get into this. 5 qualities of a good leader. It's a good day, Laurie Ann.
It's always a good day.
It is, and I'm always excited to be here. But let me see if I can grab this up for you. But I'm going to give you the opportunity right now, Laurie Ann, to see if you can guess a couple good qualities and why. So go ahead. Why don't you guess? Okay. Let's guess 3 of them. Again, no cheating.
Okay. I am gonna say, and this is gonna also based on my experience working with leaders, is one, having a vision, because without a vision, the people will perish. Awesome. Is communication. You've got to be able to communicate effectively to inspire your team. And I'm also going to add trustworthiness in there as well, and self-integrity. Do you do what you say you're going to do? Can we hold you accountable? Those are, all right, I gave you 4 right there off the top of my head.
Okay, awesome. I just realized I was watching the wrong video stream. I'm like, she's still talking. Got it. It's the delay one. So my bad. I should be looking over there. I love that. Those are important. So here's what I have. And the reality is, if you think about this, Laurie Ann, there really is no one perfect definition.
No. Because
every situation is different. Every business is different. And depending on what level you are in leadership, I think it matters. And I would even venture to say the demographic of who you're speaking to really matters as well. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because it wasn't on purpose, but by default, our staff, and you've met them, my whole team, right, is under 30, between the ages of 20 and 30 years old. Most of them are in their low 20s, mid 20s. I love it. I mean, I cannot tell you how much I enjoy working with that age group. Never did I think I would, but I would work with this age group and I'm then staff than right now more than almost any other age group out there, because what they're coming with is this energy that I'm just like excited to be around. And I love their creativity. So for me, these particular goals or these particular focuses in leadership tend to matter for this age group. So I'm going to get into it real quick. Number 1, being goal-oriented. Number 2, confidence. Number 3, being knowledgeable and curious. 4, efficient. Number 5, adapts to change easily. Number 5 to me is by far the most important one.
I don't know if that's the most important one.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying.
There's so many here.
This is going to be good. This is going to be good. All right. So you guys, I hope you're ready for this. Laurie Ann and I both are going to be coming in with different perspectives and why we think one and the other are not. So fantastic. I want you guys to chime in too. Let me know what your thoughts are, because we want to know, are these important to you, right? Are these important to you? All right, so let's get into this. Donnie, is there a way that we can upload this? And I thought I did. Let me add the presentation in.
And while Donnie's doing that, I just kind of want to add a comment about when you were talking about your team. You as the leader are also giving your team permission to be themselves, to be their authentic self, to explore things also. So not only do you love working with this particular age group and demographic, but I think it's like, like they enjoy working with you because I've also seen your team in action, but you're giving them permission to be whoever they are versus you got to fit in a box in order to fit in this company.
That's a really good point. And I wasn't always like that. Donnie, would you agree? I didn't, huh? In the beginning, no, you could be honest. He's being nice. He's like giving me the nice, no, not too bad. I can't hear him, but you really brought up a good point, Laurie Ann. And what I found was, number 1, no one is supposed to work harder than you when you're building your own business. When you look at examples like, think about those who lead the front in a military, in something that has, like you look at the stories of great battles and warriors. The greatest warriors led from the front. They didn't lead from the back, right? Mm-hmm. They led from the front. And a good leader always leads from the front. And it's interesting because they should never be expected to work harder than you, but at the same time, you can instill this same passion in entrepreneurship in your team to really own and take ownership when you do give them the ability to be themselves. We have an employee that wasn't feeling too well today and said, you know what, I think I need to take a personal day, and kind of felt bad. And I said, no, listen, that's not how that works here. You see, who you are, your personality, what you bring, your aura, your spirit, whatever you want to call it. But there's a lot more than just what you do physically. But because you are a part of this team and you affect the environment by who you are, right? If you bring negativity because you're dealing with something in life that we all go through, I would much rather you take the time to deal with it, because you are important. You as an individual. Look, we don't cure cancer. That's what I tell everybody. We're not curing cancer. I don't want to fall behind, but here's the deal. What was that, Laurie Ann?
I said, and we're not making oxygen.
That's right, and we're not making oxygen. It's probably a nicer way to say it. But, you know, the deal is what we're doing is not life or death. It will be okay. You do what you need to do, because you're more important than something that's not going to get done. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done, and we'll be fine. We'll get through it. But that's why we also have a team. We'll pick up the slack. We'll figure it out. But you're important.
Right. And that's a sign of a good team, is when somebody is missing, that other people will fill in the gap. You know, I always say, you know, when I was doing leadership coaching, that, you know, like when you're away on vacation, or, you know, like you have to step out of the office for a conference, or there's an family emergency, nobody should know that you were missing, because your team just works that well together, and they just fill in, not because they have to, but because they want to.
Yes, that's exactly, because they want to, because like a family, right? And to me, I think I was just talking to them about it. I love it when a company does want to build a family, but to me, I think it's stronger than that. It's a team, because not all families function well, right? It's a team. I don't really want to build a family environment. I want to build a team. I want to build somebody that looks out for each other. Like I'm fighting for the guy next to me, the gal next to me. That's who I'm working for. I'm working for them, and they're working for me. I'm doing this to help them reach their goals. They're doing this to help me reach my goals. And in doing that together, we all participate in the success of it, right? So I love talking about this topic. What do you guys think? Laurie Ann, where do you think we're going to go with this?
This could be very interesting.
Okay.
There's a lot of different paths. I mean, like we're already starting to talk about teams, but leadership sets the tone. They set the tone of the organization.
That's
so
right.
If anybody's not happy with their culture, you know, it's about looking at if you're the leader of that organization, you better start looking at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and because who you are is a reflection of what's going on in the organization.
That's right. Donnie, go ahead and pull it back up. Sorry about that. I probably should have asked you to do it. All right. So 5 qualities of a good leader. When I talk about being goal oriented, so a leader has to be capable, obviously, of putting the right decisions in place, and needs to be a role model in terms of where you want to go with this for the people within the team. But not everyone, right, inherently has the ability to be a good leader. So many different traits make up a good leader, but the goal-oriented aspect of it to me is very important. So one of the things that I love that John Maxwell said, it's not about who can think the furthest out and who can have the biggest ideas, is who can get first to the ideas. How quickly can you make a decision? Last week we had an amazing live with Josh. What was his last name, Laurie Ann?
Luke Lehman.
There it is. Luke Lehman, who came in out of the military as a combat pilot. And what I love what Luke said, he said it was in after report, after a mission was done, this was the most significant time, because what they were analyzing was not so much the right or wrong, but the quality of the decisions that they made. That has stuck with me since, and I cannot get rid of that. I loved that aspect of it, right? It was such an opener.
Yeah, and as long as I've known him, to hear him talk about that, I can't get tired of hearing him talk about the just the act of debriefing, I think is what he had
Yes.
called it. And his 4
Yes.
quadrant, his 2 and 2. I loved it.
Oh,
It
yes.
was
Yes.
yeah. We'll definitely have him back on the show at some
Oh,
point.
for sure. I almost think I'd love to just build a training just purely on that. I'm so glad he shared it too, because I know these are some of the things he does in his consulting. But I felt very very privileged that he shared that with us, and that 2 plus 2 was great. But the debrief. So when I talk about the being goal oriented, there's a deeper understanding of this. It's just not about, I have goals that I want to reach. I think in the detail of this, it's about a leader that can understand that we're going to set goals and perspectives, but we're going to look at the quality of how we're reaching those goals. And I believe that 1 and 5 have a lot to do with each other. So here's one of the things too, Laurie, and maybe let me open up a challenge for us here.
Okay.
Maybe you and I, we go through this, and maybe you and I really, we break this down right here live with our audience. Let's get their buy-in, and let's see if maybe do we need to redefine the top 5 qualities. Maybe it needs to be 6. Maybe it needs to be 7.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
Yeah. Let's let
You want to know why I'm good? You want to know why I'm good with that? Because
you're
I'm easily adaptable to change, Laurie. I'm just saying.
Throw that one in.
I'm just saying I'm easily adaptable to change. Hey guys, I want to take a quick second for you. If you like this program, if you like the information that we're bringing out to you, listen, we want you to be a part of this. Okay, we really want to we want to step this up, and we want to hear what you have to say. Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you think. Let us know if you want to put in your 2 cents, if you disagree, if you agree, but more importantly, we want you to join our community. So the way that you do that is you text LUNCH to 316-799-8052. 316-799-8052. What this does is this has you join our community. It's a program called Community. You can do it through the text, and what happens is we give you updates when we go live. We give you updates when we have like information like this. It's a PDF. It's free. It's for you. Even in the link in this entire event, you can click the link. It goes right to LinkedIn, and it allows you to download this for yourself. It also has a cool little video that's there. It lets you set up an appointment. And in fact, once I'm done, I'll get this updated, and I'll have Laurie Ann's information in there, and we'll put in this video right from the YouTube. So then that way you can get it all at once. Okay? We love sharing stuff. We want to help you grow. We want you to be better. We want leadership in your life to become contagious everywhere. That's the whole reason why we do contagious leadership. All right? So anyways, that's it. We're going to come back again on that. But now let's move into number 2. Don, why don't you go and pull that up? Confident. So let's talk about confidence, Laurie Ann. And let's bring it over to you. Why is this important? Yeah.
Again, so leaders set the tone. And if a leader's not confident, then the people around them, they just don't feel emotionally, physically safe, is what I like to call it. I mean, like, if I can't trust my leader who's guiding us somewhere, because the definition of leader is a pathfinder. If I can't trust my leader, the person that I'm following, then who can I trust? So if my leader's not exuding confidence that here's what the goal is, I know that we can meet it. Even if that goal is so far stretched, and he's cheering on the team, you're cheering on your team and your company. If you're not confident in it, like, hey, I think we can have a show next week. What do you guys think? I mean, like, everyone's gonna be like looking around like, I guess he doesn't want a show.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And years ago, so when I was in the service side of the world for years, I was in operations in the field. And there's a lot of things that you have to deal with from a technical perspective. You don't always have the answer. So one of the things I would tell my team is this. I go, look, guys, my job is to have a goal, a plan, and get this team to execute on it. If you believe you have a better idea, if you think that there's a better way to solve this, something more efficient, a better process, speak now or forever hold your peace, right? Because I'm not telling you my way is better. I'm telling you, my job is to have a solution. It may not be the best solution. You as my team, it's your job, the day in, the day out, the people that are there that really get it, to help me make a better decision that benefits you. But I cannot not have a plan. That's my job. And I'm going to own it, good or bad. It's not your responsibility.
And you don't need to have all the answers either.
Nope. No, you don't.
By you sharing that, like, hey, I don't expect to have all the answers. You've got a better way of doing this. What you're saying is, I trust my team.
That's right.
I trust you. So bring it on. Let's come up with a better way to do things.
That's right. Because I'm all for it. I'm easily adaptable to change, Laurie Ann, and I'm okay. I'm okay if my way is not the right way. I'm just gonna say that. That's all. I'm just
okay.
I'm just
I know where the
that.
rest of the show is going. You're just gonna prove that that's the number one.
No, that's just a coincidence.
Why?
That's just a coincidence. That's all.
That's okay.
Donnie's shaking his head over here.
He's like, Laurie Ann's in trouble. But
yeah,
I do also want to, like, with the confidence, certainty is a human need. We need to know that. I need to know, like, if I'm following you, if I'm part of your team, that there's certainty that this show is going to happen, that you know where we're going, that you have the goals. I need to, like, have certainty that the doors are going to be open and unlocked when I come to the office. Instead of, because, like, we can't live in that uncertainty. We need a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of variety in our life, but certainty actually, really is a human need. And I think it's a very important quality for leadership.
That's right. So number 2, being confident. What's your thoughts on that one? Do you share that? And I think there's areas in this where we can improve in any one of these areas. And that's the great part, right? These aren't born, like, you're not born with a lot of these things. You may have them naturally, but these are all learned skills and behavior. So they can be taught, it can be learned, it can be improved. And that's what I love about this. So number 3, we're going to get right into that, being knowledgeable and curious. And I think this is important. For quite a while, I would come to recognize that, I've said this before. Patrick Bet-David always says this, readers are not always leaders, but leaders are always readers. Okay. And so there's a lot of times where I'll challenge my team to a book or to basically build their knowledge in their skilled area. Hey, if you're in project management, like, get into that. Read books, find podcasts, look for thought leaders, watch, people's videos that they put out. There's a lot of great channels on this stuff. Become stronger in your area. Now, I can't force them to do this, right? But if they want to grow and become a more significant person within our organization, they're going to take up those challenges because they want to become more knowledgeable, and they should always be curious. And I think this has a lot to do with success of a business being able to make little shifts. Okay.
You mean adapting to change?
Yeah. I was getting there. Krista used to call this a shift and pivot. And I love that. It was her little word, #shivit. And the reason why I think it's as great is because, if you're focused too much on, well, this is my goal because I'm goal oriented, but my market is telling me otherwise. My bank account is telling me otherwise. Everything we're doing is saying we need to make change in what we're doing. If you're constantly curious in consuming knowledge, in finding other people that are driving forward in what you're doing, that they're giving an example in that they're, to me, it's a mistake of leaders not to be constantly consumed with finding other leaders in their area, in their field, even in other professions, but just really just consuming that data and being curious to want to be better. like this is how we improve each other, right? It's like the old, very old ancient way of teaching prior to, literacy, where people could actually read, and then the growth of everything else that we have today. Now we have the internet where there's everything in the world at our fingertips. But there was a time that the only way we did this is by knowledge being passed down. It was somebody who would speak and tell the stories and bring it through. So to me, like, I'm hungry for this all the time. And by doing that, that gives me information that I can then bring to my team and say, look what I'm learning, look what I'm seeing. It also, I believe, makes me valuable for my clients, because I can't expect them to always be on top of the latest trends and what's happening and how is social selling changing, and where are larger companies with much more resources able to identify statistics that we need to know as well. But, I don't have $1 million marketing budget. So I rely on those thought leaders to share with me. And I found in good leadership, leaders love to share with other leaders.
With other leaders, with their team, to make, like just as you've been saying, to encourage them to learn more and to be curious. But here's what else I see with this particular like knowledge and curious is it's also reminds me of coaching. And with coaching, I mean, that's what a leader needs to be a good coach also, so that he can, ask the right questions and just basically glean the right information about what motivates this person, what inspires them, what are some of the things that they would rather be doing, what are some new talents that they want to try to develop and grow. And so I just look at this like learning about your team, learning about your employees, and then like those having like really good questions that we are coaching people through, if that makes sense. Yeah, go on.
It does. No, it does. It does completely, totally. So I'm going to pull this up. We finally got the right PDF. So that's great.
Well, there it is.
Yeah, I was like, one's for presenting and one's for a quick one sheet. So I'm going to pop through these real quick. And I think we forgot to set the AC back here. Whoa, it is so hot back here right now.
It's a little warm here in New Hampshire also.
Yeah, it's a little warm in Kansas. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, all right, 4, being efficient. Good leader is able to gauge how much time should be devoted to a task, maximizing efficiency. They know how to delegate the work best suited for each task. I think this is very important in our team, being able to identify that, being able to say, hey, I don't think that this is productive for us, and looking at how we can continue to make improvements. Again, I believe that it is our job as leaders to help our team be more successful. And you know what? Maybe these aren't so much 5 qualities of a good leader as much as it is 5 qualities of a good leader making a team more effective, right? Because these are strengths that help your team become successful. What do you think on the aspect of becoming or being efficient, a leader being efficient, Laurie Ann?
I don't know about this one because actually I was about to ask you a question of like, how long do you give a team member X amount of time to learn a new skill, to get efficient at this task? Like, how do you basically evaluate that situation? But I don't know if I would put efficiency in here just because there's so many other great qualities. If I had to only put 5 in here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally get it. And this is what I love about this aspect. So I'll try to answer your question. When I look at efficiency, one of the things that I've been a part of in my roles as a leader is a lot of what we do is project oriented. Okay, so being able to sell a product, being able to convince a client to join what it is you're doing and buy into your value and your value service, that's just a part of it, because now we have to execute. And when it comes to the execution, there's a lot of work. way more work in the execution than anything else that we're going to be doing. I am 100% relying on my team to be effective. And in order for them to be effective, and because we are lean, because this is how we operate, this is how we're able to make things happen for our clients in a way that makes us competitive, makes us very agile, because the larger a business gets, the more difficult it is for them to adapt and change quickly as needed. And so being a very nimble and a smaller organization, I believe, has superpowers. So for me, efficiency is incredibly important, because if we can improve how we manage a client, how well we get them to a goal, how we over deliver on a promise of, you're going to see an ROI on this within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then we're doing it in 2 to 3 because our team has found a way to make it happen faster. That becomes a very effective way for us to increase and grow our business, because now we can continue to show that we have over delivered and we are very effective in what it is that we're doing for our market, for our customer base.
Okay.
So efficiency is really important for us. And the only way that that's going to happen is by typically myself taking the time to really oversee and evaluate. One of the things I found, you asked me a question, how do I make it possible, or how do I evaluate my team to even know how much time it takes? We do this by running it till it breaks, essentially. And this, I'm not kidding. This is what I do with the team. I say, okay, we're going to set a goal. And you need to be consistent with this. You're going to do exactly the way we're going to set it up. We're going to set a process. You're going to create 10 of these graphics. So let's use an example. We have a graphic team, and I'll have one of my artists say, okay, the goal is 15 of these. They're 20 to 30 minute type projects. You have a build up. You have to get all the information within the CRM. You got to pull the ticket. You have to update. You have to move it. So there are other pieces than just the creative aspect. And because it's creative, your mind needs to unclick off the old one, refresh, reset, get into the new one. See, these are the things that most people don't realize. It's not just a 30-minute graphic. It's your mind was just focused on a completely different brand standard for a completely different company and a completely different message. So you have to reshift your mind. And what does Coach Kevin always said? There's a payment made every time. Every time your mind has to shift, there is a payment that must be made, and that payment comes in time. Okay.
Yeah.
So with our team, it's okay. You're going to do 15 and you're going to push. Oh, I can't do it. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's find it. Find the efficiencies, make the corrections. Okay. What do we need to do here? We need to add a little more detail. We need to be more descriptive. We need more information from a client. We need more direction given to the designer. And we keep doing it. Then the 15 becomes normal. Okay, we're going to push it. 17, 18, 19, 20. And we keep pushing till we set what? When we find out, I look at this just like weightlifting, Laurie Ann. In weightlifting, you would set your max. And the way you set your max, typically, I'm a little old school, Donnie, I don't know if this is still the way it is, but your max would normally, your reps would be set to about 80% of your max. And so the way that you would do this is you would hit it and you keep adding weight and you keep adding weight till you would break. And you have to have a certain amount of repetition for it to be counted as a max, right? 3, typically. Like if I'm benching, you have to hit it 3 times for it to be your max. He's saying, that way it was for us. To me, if you did it once, that wasn't a max, because that could be done once. It was, can you do it at least 3 times? But the point was you would work to failure. You would work your muscles out to failure. And when you would fail, then you knew that was your breaking point. Then you pulled back and then you push, and you made that rep weight become so easy to do that then you would reevaluate your breaking point. You would reevaluate your max. Yeah. And then you would set the max out. And the reason why we do that within the organization, because I want to know on an average when you are working adequately or when you are working above standard. Not because I want to push you to above standard, because I want to reward you for doing more, than a good job. I want you to partake in the pleasure of our business being more efficient, which means we're being more effective with our time, which means we're creating more revenue, which means you should have a drive that says, I'm going to keep pushing past it. Now, if it's consistently 20 graphics versus 15, then you're not really pushing. That's probably more of a norm. And we're going to reevaluate and create that as the new standard. But there's always, right? Does this make sense?
It does make sense. And as like, I'm a smaller business than yourself, so I have a much smaller team. So I look at efficiency in like, how long does it take to like edit my podcast and make the graphic, like what graphics are being made. So I look at efficiency as, you know, like once you essentially like what you're talking about, like once they understand what they're doing, then it's like it becomes like a subconscious habit. Like they just neurologically, like they just know what to do on repeat. But I am like at that point right now where I'm trying to push them like, hey, you sure you could only find like 2 quote cards from that particular podcast? Like, so I see myself doing the exact same thing that you're talking about. I'm pushing them a little bit without trying to scare them also.
And, you know, and one of the things that I've done, Laurie Ann, and you know, it might work out for you. I tell them, all right, so guys, we're gonna go to max, right? So you just need to let me know when you can't take it anymore. And then I'm probably gonna push you just one more time, but I am gonna push you to breaking point. And so be ready, be mentally prepared. We used to do this within an operational standpoint too, because it's like, look, I'm not going to do this because I'm not trying to be, you know, a manager that is not looking out for you. Is we need to find what we're capable of. You know, one of the things that I feel is missing in the workplace is competition. I really do believe that in a lot of environments, we are forgetting the power of the competitive landscape to be able to take the workspace and then drive and push and see what we could get done, to continue to just like, let's see, this is not good enough. Let's go till somebody breaks. Yeah. And then once we break, then we know, okay. And here's the crazy part. More than just that, we're going to find in that data a ton of areas for us to make improvement and change our course of direction if we are, number 5, willing to change. let me go over. You say where it's going, right? Number 5, being able to adapt to change easily. A leader should always be active and eager to improve. Moreover, he or she should be able to adjust easily to unexpected changes when they happen, good or bad. News can hit the world anytime. There was this crazy thing that happened right around the end of 2019 into 2020 in this country and all over the world. And all of a sudden, an entire world had to figure out how to conduct business, how to solve problems, how to do anything.
How to school their kids.
How to school their kids, how to grocery shop, how to stay connected. Yes.
I mean, like, and I'm so glad that you brought this particular unique opportunity that happened, that so many people had to adapt to change, because there were the people who just sat at home and just said, this will be over in a couple of weeks. While there were other people who just said, you know what can I do now to serve my customers, to serve my clients? And you know, like I can tell you, like myself, my husband and I mean, we wanted to support our local restaurants. Did we need to eat out as often as? No, but we supported them because they were trying their best to stay in business. And we were just like, when this all blows over, we want to make sure that these people are still in business. So I was just like kudos to them that they found creative ways to stay in business and keep in touch with their customers.
You know, it's funny, Laurie Ann, we did the same thing. It was fun. We would go out once a week. We'd find a new local restaurant and we would go and support them. And they'd always be like, thank you so much for coming in. Of course. Of course we're going to do that. We're going to make sure that the community and especially small local businesses have the support of the community, because this is important and we're all going through it. And at the time, our business was shifting too. And it wasn't that we could always afford doing it all the time, but we would make it a point because, you know, what goes around comes around. And you know, it's just doing the right thing for the right reasons will always pay forward. And I love that.
Yeah.
When we looked at that situation, when everything happened during 2019 and 2020, what I loved about this and why this is so important to me, Laurie Ann, is because and I think especially in a small business within a startup, you know, we're getting ready to enter into our 5th year. It's pretty exciting. We're just a few months away from being in business 5 years. And our business has grown drastically in every facet: how we serve, how we conduct business, what are we doing, the responsibilities that we have to our clients, and, you know, we have staff. I have, you know, my taxes have changed, right? Like everything. I was just talking about this the other day going, oh my God, like never did I thought that my taxes to the government would be this large. And it makes me sick. But at the same time, it's exciting because that means we're building something. We're really building something, and we're providing into our community, because now 5, 6 people are also paying in, and they are getting paid by us. And that's really, really cool when you look at that. Change. If I had stuck with my original process, we wouldn't be here. I had to look and say, you know what? We're set up. We're agile. Let's change. Let's shift. What's becoming the new need? At this point, I can help my clients serve their customers better by creating a better bridge that fills the gap within their product, service, or value to their customer. And as we kept moving down that road, we would do it again, and we would do it again, where it became one of the mantras and literally the number one thing that represents us in our company. When you look at our mission statement, is change, like adapt to change. Things are going to change constantly. So be adaptable to change. Because if you think you're going to be here for one thing and then it's like, well, that's not really my job, that's not why you hired me. Well, then you're probably the wrong person. Because I hired you because you had the entrepreneurial mindset that said, today I'm going to learn how to project manage, and tomorrow all of a sudden I'm going to be building a CRM. I'm not expecting you to be the expert, but I'm expecting you to figure out what we need to learn. You're going to go learn what you need to, figure out how we need to be efficient, and then tell me what I need. And then it's my job to go get an expert in that area and have that expert now take it over or make it something that could work for us every single day. That ability to make the change quickly for us, I believe, is the number one key as to why we've been able to be successful, because my leadership skills have grown. I made a lot of mistakes in the process. I was not giving my team freedom and space. I was pushing too much with a lot of them in the beginning. I expected all of them to share a particular weight and load. It wasn't intentional. It was me not doing a good enough job in the beginning to identify the age group, what I was working with, what was the expectations, what were my responsibilities, and how was I going to build them? How was I going to make them better and make my company more efficient on a more adequate timeline? Stop making so much promises that require this 9, 10, 11 hour workday. Actually, in the beginning, we ran a 10 to 11 hour workday. That was normal.
Wow. How'd your team feel about that?
They were tired.
They were tired.
They were tired.
You adapted
to me,
to change.
I didn't see it any other way. And in the beginning of the year, as I looked at a lot of things, I looked at the efficiency and I realized we're not being efficient, and they're carrying certain weights. I was watching them carry weight that was not theirs to carry. And I said, I am making it like a critical error. Like this isn't going to work.
So it sounds to me like you almost stepped into a little bit more of your leadership role to become, like as your company has grown, like, at the beginning of the year, January, you were probably like, like just getting ready to cross over the 4.5 year mark. It's like, like your business required you to grow as a leader, and kind of like going back to like the beginning of this, it's like defining leadership. So it sounds like you got to a point where it's like the leader that I was great because it got me here. But now, because I've got this vision, this goal about where I want to take the company, my leadership needs to change. You as a leader probably had to get more efficient also.
Oh, yeah, and I'm still not there. I mean, and this is where Anita came in, right? Because one of the things that we had to understand, I don't know, let's take a look real quick. Is it in any of the goal-oriented, confident, knowledgeable, and curious, efficient, adapts to change? It's not, but maybe, Laurie Ann, this is one of yours. But in the process of understanding and defining myself as a leader, I had to recognize my own weaknesses and realize that this wasn't just something that, I mean, I'm not saying it can't improve, but I just had to recognize right away that when it comes to a level of organization, I can do really well for others and I can line it out, but it is really difficult for me to stay focused on that aspect and not want to move on to the next challenge. So this is where Anita came in, and I said, your one job is to help me become more efficient, more organized, and stay on task. That's it.
And you hired the perfect person for that too.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, but you as a leader, you have to get to this point where you delegate. It's like doing these tasks is no longer serving me because my time is better spent doing these other tasks. And you just don't, I mean, you only have 24 hours in the day. I mean, do you really want to be working, like 12, 16 hours a day? Because then that takes away from your family. So to be able to bring somebody on who that's her sole job is to keep you organized. And she does a really great job at that. Like, I don't think that we have to improve in the areas that we're weak in. Let's find somebody else who's really strong in where we're weak and let them do those tasks, especially if you don't enjoy it also.
Yeah, and you know, it's, and I do, funny enough, is there's certain things I do enjoy about it, but it's just not a skill set that I do well, but I know how it needs to look, right?
And
I know exactly the way it needs to look. Go ahead, Laurie.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and probably also because for 4.5 years, there's certain tasks that you've been doing on repeat. So it's like, well, I know how to do it, but this is the sign of a good leader is when we train somebody else to do some of those tasks so that they get done a little more efficiently and you feel organized, and then it clears up that space, your creative energy, your creative vision that your clients are hiring you for.
I agree. Yeah, no. Okay, so let's go through these again real quick. So number one, it was being able to be goal-oriented, but more importantly, understanding how to move forward in that goal, how to be effective in reaching the whether it's quarterly, annual goals, whether it's a financial number, whether it is a personal development, a team development growth, but understanding how to be focused in constantly being a visionary, but understanding that it's not so much about just being a visionary, but knowing how to effectively move forward in that, being the first one out to getting to that. Number two, having confidence to say, I'm going to make a decision and I will accept the responsibility, good or bad, going back to what Luke said and adding that to this, not just being confident, but looking for the quality of the decisions that are being made. But your team needs to have confidence in your confidence to move forward. And when you're confident, I believe that, just like you said, Laurie Ann, the team will rally around improving the process. That moves over to number three, knowledgeable and curious. I believe this is an important element to any person's personal and career growth. If you are not hungry to learn and always curious to improve what you are currently doing by learning from others, Hence why we do this Contagious Leadership program, because I am hungry to learn things from Laurie Ann. I'm hungry to learn things from all of our guests because it makes me better. And then I share them with you guys. I think super, super important within a good leader. Number 4, being efficient and understanding how to create efficiency within your team. And number 5, Rigo's personal favorite, being able to adapt to change quickly. I'm going to go back to John Maxwell on this. He said what he believes in leadership today, what makes the most successful leader is not the one who can be the biggest visionary, but it's he who can move the fastest. And in order to move the quickest, I believe you have to be willing to make changes in your course of action on the spot. And I think if you get too stuck, right, Laurie Ann, if you get too stuck in, well, this was the plan, I believe that you don't have a lot of room today. I don't think there's a whole lot of room in waiting too long. You got to be first to market. You got to be first to fail. You got to be first in order to gain traction.
And I also think that, being able to adapt and move and shift your team quickly also comes down to a lot of these other things that we already talked about. You can't shift and change if your team doesn't have confidence in you. You can't shift and team and if we don't have that vision, if we don't have that goal, if we don't have some sort of efficiency, or even I think they all really intertwine with each other, and you can't have one without the other. What do you think? Or do you think that there's one that you can have without the other?
No, I don't. I really don't. I think when it comes to leadership and almost, any type of role where you are collaborating or you really do rely on the person next to you, right? Because, if you're a solopreneur, right? If you're doing everything on your own, great. And I've been there, and it's tough. It has its perks, but you also know that your potential for growth, right? It's just not going to happen. You can only get so big because nobody does it alone.
Right. Nobody does it alone. And
Nobody.
if you have if you don't have the kind of team that can move with you and that can adapt with you and strive for the goal, then it's time to look at how you are picking the people that are on your team.
Yeah.
It's called team for a reason. Just like you said, nobody achieves anything by themselves. We don't achieve anything great by ourselves.
No, not at all. Hey, even the greatest man that ever lived still had 12 homies, right? So he didn't do it by himself either. So leader equals pathfinder. I love that. You said that earlier. I want to get into that again on another episode. But we're getting ready to wrap it up. Laurie Ann, I appreciate you being here always.
It's great.
It is a pleasure for me to have you a part of this co-hosting and honestly taking ownership in this program. I'm just so grateful you're here, and I just want to let everybody know how happy I am that Laurie Ann is a part of this with us. So
I feel the same way. I love being a part of this show.
Awesome.
It just happens every Thursday.
So I was just, it does every Thursday, 1 p.m. right here, LinkedIn and all of our other social channels. We've got a couple other things coming up. We're doing some new programs, some technical programs, which I'm actually excited about, and I want to expand even more of it. I'm going to go on blast. Anita is going to be coming out with some content here soon. We've been discussing it. We're going to start planning a little bit. Donnie is going to be putting out some content soon. So this is all stuff we're going to be adding to our YouTube channel. Laurie Ann, maybe we need to talk to Laurie Ann about some specific content within the Contagious Leadership family of material. Yeah, let's do it. And we may have a big announcement on what will be happening as we go forward into 2023. So still in discussion. We'll talk more about it. Laurie Ann, I'll bring you in on it once I have all buy-in, which is exciting. But listen, we want to throw it up again for you real quick. We want you to be a part of our community. So there's a couple ways you can do this. Number one, if you're not following Laurie Ann's pages, please do so. Get on her LinkedIn. click the follow button, connect with Laurie Ann, learn more about what she does and how she helps you in your business in communicating, because that's what she is. She is a communications expert, a well-noted and award-winning author, public speaker, and smiler. An award-winning smile. I love to say that about you, Laurie Ann. Who can say I have an award-winning smile? And myself as well. Please, if you like what we're doing, follow us, get to our YouTube page. Please subscribe if you like our content. If you don't, I'm sorry. Subscribe anyways. Then you can just say nasty things every week about it. Oh, very, very cool. There it is right there. See, look what these guys do. Just get in, subscribe. There it is. Super
That's
easy.
great.
Follow us. That's pretty cool, Don. All right, that was a surprise. Yeah, look. I didn't even know that existed. That was pretty cool. Very cool. Also, again, join the community. 316-799-8052. We will be here next week, same time, same bat channel, and we're gonna bring more lessons like this and more content. I'm gonna drop the link again for you guys. Let me see if I still have it in a copy paste. I do not. That was the YouTube. Let me just put it in the comments after. But here's the deal: if you want the link for the download and you want a free PDF, just let us know. We'll send it to you. You can click on the link and get it. Otherwise, you guys, God bless. Thank you so much for being here. And we will see you next week, Laurie Ann. Talk to you guys later. Roll us out, Donnie.